This is MathShare Update version 1.3 released on June 13th, 2020. I'm going to go over the highlights and then I'll do a quick demo of these different changes. So one of the big things here is problem set controls, and this allows you to currently change whether or not explanations are required, if there is a problem set key that you're going to be using with the set, and then also you can update the math tools that are available in the math tools palette. And they're also, now we've changed how the sharing works for students and teachers. We've kind of broken that out a little bit. So let's go through those different changes. I have a problem set that I've already created here. And you can see right away up at the top is this problem set controls. So it's a new box with the heading of problem set controls. And it has two toggle buttons of require explanations and include my work when sharing. And that one's the key. So this first one, if I toggle this on, then explanations are required by students when they complete the set. Now this is a change. So when you assign it out to your students, if you now share this out to your students, then those explanations are going to be required. If you toggle it off later on, students would still be required. So you would need to recopy or reshare that link to the problem set whenever you make a change on that toggle. And this other one of include my work when sharing, what that does is anything that you've put into steps, whether or not that should be included. So I'll go open up this first one here. So it has the original problem. And so this first problem is 10x plus 3 is equal to 23. And so if I work through and I do, let's say like minus 3, and then I'm going to go ahead and just simply solve these things. So I say, okay, well, I'm going to calculate that, and then subtract 3 from both sides. If I add that step, this is the type of thing whether or not you want this to be hidden or visible to students. So I'm going to save this work by selecting finish and go back to my set. Now that step that I added in is saved for problem number 1. Currently, this is toggled off of the include my work when sharing. So that means that that step that I just added would not be visible to my students. But if I toggle this on, now that work would be visible to my students. So this is a really great way of where for your own sanity, you can create your own answer keys as you're going through. So you can work through the whole problem, but instead of like having to duplicate the set, you can still share the same set. Just make sure that you've toggled this, it's toggled off whether or not you want to share it with students. And the next thing too is this button, also in the problem set controls of change math symbols. If you select that, then you see the same modal or box pop up that allows you to select which of these different math tool palettes you want to have available. So let's say if we didn't want geometry or the notation ones available, I can now unselect those, and now we've got that change now is going to be for all the students. The last thing is the new sharing options. So one is if you want to just simply share your answers. That means that this is sort of like the view only version. You can't edit them or anything like that. Then you would select that, and then this new box will pop up, and this kind of explains what it's going to do here. This will allow others to see your work. They can't edit the work and they can't duplicate the problems at all. And so you can copy a link to that, or you can share it directly through Classroom or through Teams. If you want to share it to students so that students can work through it, or to other people so they can work through it, you would select the more options and then share problem set. And this one, the interface is similar. It has the link in Classroom and Teams, but the difference here is this will allow students to answer those questions. So I'll quickly show you how these work. So I'm going to copy the URL to this one. It's very simple. And in a new tab, I'm going to open up that link. And now you can see I can open this up and I can start working through it. And this is kind of a cool thing. You can see, notice now down at the bottom, the math tool palettes, we had turned off those last two tool palettes, notation and geometry ones, so they don't show up for the students. And we had also toggled off to show steps or show the extra work that we had done. So again, for the students now, they don't see those extra steps that we had added in because we wanted to use that as the answer key. And I'm going to go over here now then let's say like if you're a student, so I'm a student, I go through, I finish all my work. Then what they would do is with the share my answers one, copy that link. And now in a new tab, I will open up that link. And this is what that answers view looks like. And if I open it up, then you just see the work. You can't edit it. So it's the nice kind of view only version of that. So this is, again, the MathShare release version 1.3 released on June 13th, 2020. Give us some feedback. Let us know what you think of these changes. And again, we're going to have regular updates coming out, so make sure that you subscribe to the Mass Share YouTube channel to get updates whenever we release a new version.